Hello guys. So this is sort of an unboxing. I was just down at the local pet store and the guy there, Dave, normally gets me some very rare tarantulas, especially the Pokis. I have a hard time coming across some of these Pokis, and this is one that I got him to order me. It's a sling. It is the Poecilotheria Formosa, which is a Salem Ornamental. And this is going to be its little enclosure here. Now they're normally arboreal, but a lot of slings are sort of fossorial in the sort of aspect that they will burrow a lot. So I have a little spiderling cave for it, a little branch to climb on if it wants, some foliage to brighten it up, and it can hide in under if it wants, and its little water dish there. But also very interestingly, when I was down there, he said to me that one of his customers who is Polish was heading back over home to live, and he basically left in his spider with me, or he left his spider in with Dave, and Dave just said to me, "You can have this tarantula for free." So I got this whole tank and this spider for free. Now I can't quite recognize the species of this one. From this angle it looks sort of pinkish, but where I'm looking at it here without the artificial light on it, it looks very blonde. It has a bit of an indent on the carapace, which made me think of a Chilean rose. I already have a Chilean rose called Sophia, and she's very nice, but she's a lot more pink than that. And this one's very, very blondish in colour. It's a nice tarantula, but it's just difficult to identify. I've been told it's about five years old, maybe. So it's still got a long way to go by the look of it. So it's pretty amazing to be given an entire terrarium and a free tarantula, so I'm pretty happy with that. So with that having been said, let's get the Poki into its new enclosure, and let's see if we can get a bit of a closer look at this tarantula in a wee second. So it's a little bit hard to see this tarantula inside this little container here, but it's very, very nice. I love Pokis. They always have these beautiful striped legs. Whoop, sorry little dude. Yes, I have to cut this open at this side. And I haven't seen Poecilotheria Formosa for ages, so, and I've never owned one before, so I think this is a great opportunity to have one, and especially having one from a sling. So this is, sorry little dude, I know I'm wrecking you about a lot there, but it's just until I get this open. What side does this open from? Here. So I thought that was a wee bit of wood, but it's actually tissue. Wow. So you can see his striped little patterns on his legs already, and it is absolutely gorgeous. I might actually just try feeding him first, because he's looking a little bit thin there. Abdomen is a bit small, so I think I'm actually going to see if I can get him fed first, and then we'll put him into this enclosure. So bear with me a second. Okay, so my thinking is it'll probably actually be a little bit better to put him into the enclosure first and then try feed him. So because it'll be a bit of a hassle if I feed him first and then try to get him out. So I think we will just try quickly here to put him into his enclosure. Now, whoop. Poki on my hand. That was unintentional, but very, very nice. So see if we can get you down this direction, buddy. Good, good, good. There we are. Whoop. Stay in. There you are. Okay. So, let's see if we can feed you. Bean weevil. Oh. There was one just went under here, I think. These bean weevils are a little bit tricky to get sometimes. Oh. They like to come out when you don't want them to, and then when you do want them, they're nowhere to be seen. Okay. Bugger. Okay, well he's got a couple of weevils in there anyway. He'll be able to get them whenever he wants. So it's just great to have him really. Oh. Weevil on the ground. Anyway, there we are, the little Poecilotheria Formosa, which is a beautiful little sling. If you just move back a wee bit, buddy, so I can put the lid on here. Good spider. Good, good, good. Here we are. And that will allow me to put this lid on, and here you are with your new home. Okay, so I want to get a bit of a closer look at this tarantula, and also I want to get this tank cleaned out because there's a lot of dead crickets and dead locusts and all sorts. So basically, and to be honest, I'm not fussed on wood chips as a terrain, so I want to get some cocoa fibre in there, something a bit softer. I think tarantulas like much softer terrain, so I'll want to do that. So I'm gonna have to get her out of here, and hopefully I'll be able to get a bit of a better look at her, and I can maybe clean this tank up a bit because there's a bit of dirt around the edges and a wee bit grimy looking, but it can be fixed up. So let's see if we can get her out without agitating her too much. Sorry. Go, sweetie. She doesn't seem to appreciate me doing this, and I'm dreadfully sorry. But I do have to do this, sweetie. Sorry. I think she is really not appreciating this. But like I say, this kind of has to be done to get this enclosure cleaned. So I don't like... Okay. Come on. I know. Sorry. She is really not appreciating this. And I am dreadfully sorry, but you know, like I say, this kind of has to be done, sweetie. So I wouldn't be agitating you so much otherwise. But come on, back. On to the book. There we go. And she is quite lovely. Now that I can see her outside of the tank, I am a bit more convinced this actually is a Chilean rose. She does have slightly pinkish hair around the abdomen. Inside the enclosure it looks blonde, but it's a wee bit hazy with the dirt. But wow. Free. So to the guy who had her last, I'm sure you miss her, and obviously you didn't have the ability to take her home with you, so if you do by chance happen to see this video, know that she's going to have a loving home here. So I appreciate it very much, and I'm going to try and get this enclosure cleaned up a bit and then put her back in. It's a wonderfully sized enclosure, but we're just going to have to temporarily take her out and redo it. Okay, so this is my Chilean rose, Sophia, and you can see that she looks rather pink. She's got a nice little rosy carapace with a nice little sort of rosy sheen to it, and this one looks a little bit more grey. But what I noticed is she has these little stripes along her legs, and if you look very carefully, you can see similar stripes on Sophia. So the other thing that sort of tips me off, if you look at the carapace, the little indent there, and she also appears to have an indent. There is a slight sort of pinkish colour from her. It's more noticeable in the daylight, but she still looks very blonde. But I'm inclined to say she is actually a Chilean rose, but I could be wrong. So if anyone else can identify this species for me, or if you guys think that they look pretty similar, they do look similar. The colour is a wee bit different, but other than that, I think they do look very similar. So, with that having been said, she's sat in here on top of this book for a while while I was getting the enclosure finished. So I think it's about time to put her into her enclosure. So let's take a look at the new enclosure for her. Okay, so this is the new enclosure. That's the original hide here. So I've just sort of buried it in just a little bit into the dirt. She can go in there if she wants to hide, or she can go under this big log. Our little water bowl is in there as well. The original plants, of course, one of my own. So there's plenty of space in there for her. And one thing I wanted to do, seeing as I had the opportunity, is that this is a very big enclosure, and I wanted to try different soil types just to see if she had any preference. So on this side, this is the one I normally use for most of my spiders, which is just coconut fibre. In the middle there is a sort of dark blackish sort of substrate, which is Spider Life. I'm not entirely sure what it consists of, but it doesn't seem quite as good for burrowing, but Chilean rose don't tend to do that anyway. So, and at this side is a sort of blend of quite a lot of things. I don't entirely know what's in it. I know there's a bit of coconut fibre, a little bit of clay, I think vermiculite as well. So the 3 different types of soil in there, and hopefully she will be happy. Okay, so she's turning out to be a very, very friendly little spider, and I think it's time to get her into her new enclosure. And the more and more I look at her, the more and more I'm convinced that she's a Chilean rose. And she's very walky. She likes to walk about a lot. I've just sort of let her loose in the room for a while. And so I think it's just time to set her into her new enclosure and let her on her way. Oops, sorry. There you go, sweetie. So you have plenty of exploring space in there, and I hope you're a happy little spider. So that was quite amazing. For a free tarantula and a free enclosure, there is no complaints out of me. She's a lovely little spider. She was a bit nervous there at the start, but she's warmed up and she's just kind of running around doing her own thing now, so I'm going to leave her to enjoy her new little enclosure, and I'll maybe give her a wee feed tomorrow and see how she's keeping. So that's all. Thanks folks for watching.